The F-22 Raptor is the most argued over aircraft in the game. It isn't even in the game, and it is constantly the center of pretty much every major air argument in War Thunder, at least in my opinion, from what I've heard, and I do understand why. So in real life, the F-22 Raptor is one of the, if not the most advanced air-to-air capable fighter in the world. I say this as things like the F-35 are more advanced electronically and can do more multiple missions over what the F-22 can. But as far as actual air-to-air capabilities, the Raptor should still be pretty much on par, if not better, than the F-35. And honestly, I can believe that. So, for a lot of players, the F-22 would make it where War Thunder is now kind of over. It's kind of dead once the Raptor arrives. And I can understand where they're coming from. For as long as I can remember, pretty much every single player, when they're playing the game, it's like, I'm grinding this so that I can get this when it arrives. I mean, you went from the P-51, to the Sabre, to the Phantom, to the Eagle, and then the Raptor eventually. And so all of these, all these times that you're picking these vehicles to grind, you have to keep in mind what's coming to the game and what you obviously want to see. So it doesn't, really make a whole lot of sense to a lot of players that is like, hey, the Raptor's arriving, there's nothing coming after it, that's it, it's done. That doesn't mean the game's done. Obviously, for some players, it would be a major blow, because they just want the newest and best top-tier aircraft, and even when we get the best in the world, I don't think that they'll stop asking for different things. Obviously, in real life, it takes decades to bring out a new fighter aircraft, whereas in War Thunder, they bring several out every couple months. So obviously, we're not going to see new additions coming to replace the Raptor anytime soon, realistically. Now, I do say that with a little bit of a grain of salt because the F-47 has a name, which means it is right around the corner from actually probably entering production and service with the United States Air Force. I would not be surprised if that happened in the next 5 years. And I can very much see War Thunder being a game that is still around in 5 years. Now, if they play their cards right, Gaijin realistically actually still has probably around 5 years a worth of vehicles that they can add if they space it out good enough. Keep in mind, obviously not all of these are going to be top-tier aircraft, but keep in mind as well, we also are still missing pretty much every bomber outside of a couple Cold War ones for pretty much every nation. So you'll still see things like the B-52, the B-1, the B-2, the B-21, things like that, and so many more. There are so many Cold War fighters and interceptors and other bombers, and Gaijin can add those to the game. Gaijin can also be like, hey, we're going to focus more on other things. We're going to add, they're adding infantry. We're going to add more infantry game modes, like actually adding things like the CH-47 Chinook, adding things like more Blackhawks, things like that, adding the CH-53 Stallion. So the game is far from, in my opinion, being close to dead. I can definitely understand that when the Raptor arrives, why some players would be like, hey, this is the end. Like, this is the start of what the ending is, and that might be the case for some players. But realistically speaking, if Gaijin plays their cards right, there's no reason why War Thunder can't be a game that stays around for many, many years. Realistically, I'd be very upset if Gaijin somehow found a way to screw up this game to the point where it's dead in 2 years, and I could understand how they do this. I mean, at the rate that they're adding vehicles, we jumped from the F-16C, F-15C to the F-15E, the F-15GE, or the F-15CGE. We're going to jump to the more latest F-16s eventually. We jumped from the F-14A to getting the F-A-18E in only, a couple years. I mean, from the arrival of the F-A-18A to the arrival of the Super Hornet was not a very large gap. So they are adding vehicles pretty quickly compared to when they used to kind of just level it out a bit more. And obviously on top of this, you got to keep in mind that nations like America, Russia, China are going to offer way more than nations like Britain, Germany, Israel. Now, these nations do still have access to things like subtrees. They are all still missing aircraft. But I'm just pointing out that, you can definitely understand where the issues might arise in the future for Gaijin, especially when adding new aircraft, especially at top tier. Keep in mind, you're going to see, as far as stealth platforms go, every nation will have at least one. China will have 3 or 4. Probably only 2, honestly, but I could see 3, maybe. America, in the long run, has the Raptor, the YF-23, the F-117 if you want to count that, the B-2, the B-21, the F-47, and the F-A-XX, which, you know, at least the F-47 is right around the corner. The F-A-XX, I don't believe it's even been named who's making it yet. I know Grumman was supposedly the one who was under consideration, but obviously that's yet to be announced, as far as I'm aware. So it really does just kind of, you know, we'll kind of have to wait and see. But I do not think that the F-22 Raptor is going to be the air quote end of War Thunder. I think the game still has a lot of good years left. I don't think the Raptor alone is going to be what ends the game. If anything, it'll be Gaijin adding late models of the F-22 and F-35 too quickly. Hopefully they don't do that. But yeah. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you guys are not already subscribed, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.